So after being in business 34 years, yesterday, one of the first 5 employees I hired celebrated 30 years in business. And I got him a nice gift and a card and basically an allowance to take his family on a trip for a certain amount. And it's just cool. We had some of the team members, gather around for the celebration of 30 years. I think the average person today works somewhere 3.5 to 4 years. So celebrating 30 years is 10 times that, basically. And it was just fun. As I read some of the things about Chris, I got a little emotional. Some feelings came out in me because it's been 30 years, and I remember hiring him. And I remember a lot of, the first few years with him, training him, and just what all he's been able to accomplish since he's been here. So I got a little emotional. And there's a time for emotion. There's a time for feelings. But there's a time for strategic planning and thinking and all those things. Now, God commanded Joshua in the Bible to be strong, be not afraid, be not discouraged. He never said feel strong, feel not afraid, or feel not discouraged. It was be. Be that way. That's rational. That's strategic. And that's intellect. And we've got to have a fine mix of both. Hey, this is Greg McAfee, and welcome to the Greg McAfee Show. Now let's get started. Hey, welcome back to the Greg McAfee Show, where we discuss steps to successful entrepreneurship, how to take your business to new heights, and ultimately follow your dreams. And today, if I were to title this, I would title it Mind Over Feelings, How Feelings Can Fail Us in Business. So, running a business primarily on feelings rather than data, facts, strategic planning, intellect, it can introduce several risks and challenges. And while intuition and taking care of people plays a role in decision making, relying too heavily on emotions can lead to significant drawbacks and disappointments, which we're going to talk about today. So let's discuss some of them. Number one is what I call impulsive decisions. Because when you're making emotional decisions, and it can lead to impulsive actions which fully considered the long-term consequences or the broader impact on the business. This can result in missed opportunity or strategic missteps. So in other words, the customer breaks down and starts crying when they explain that they can't pay for the services you just performed. You have to say something like, I'm sorry for the situation you're in. I can't control that. I think you knew you were in that before you signed for us to do the work. But we need to collect. In order for us to stay in business and pay our people, we need to collect. Is there any credit card you can put it on? Is there any family member you can call? Are there any friends you can call? I mean, we work with people the best we can. But in order to stay in business, in order to pay our people, in order to keep the lights on, in order to show a profit, we need to collect. And that's what I love about residential work from day one. We sell a job, we collect a deposit, and we collect upon completion of the job. We don't bill people. Our accounts receivable are very, very, very little and have been for 34 years. And we like to keep it that way. Okay, so number one is impulsive decisions. When you're thinking with your feelings instead of with your brain, okay? Number two, conflict of interest. Personal feelings might lead to favoritism. where decisions are made based on personal relationships rather than merit or what's best for the business. This can undermine team morale and efficiency. In other words, I like Bob. Bob has 4 kids, so I'm going to give Bob some extra bonuses so it'll help him out and help out his family. Well, that doesn't go well, and it's not fair. In order to be fair to everyone, we can't help it. Bob has 4 kids. I'm glad he does. However, there's other families with 1 and 2 and 3 kids that they could probably use help too. So in order to be fair, keep all the bonuses and all the spiffs and all the perks the same, even across the board. Okay, I've never had to do this before, but I just want to jump in here. I was editing this and I heard that everybody should get the same. I'm sorry, I just don't have the union mentality, and that's not what I meant. Everything we do here is performance-based. You do more, you get more. You do more, you get increases, higher spiffs, more perks, and a larger bonus. So it's all performance-based, and everybody's given increases based on performance. I just wanted to clarify that before we moved on. Thanks. All right. Number 3 is resistance to change. You see, emotional attachment to certain ways that we do business, certain products that we carry, or ways of doing business can hinder innovation and adaptability. You know, clinging to what's familiar, even when it's not working, can prevent necessary evolution and growth for your business. So in other words, being attached to a supplier. Now let's just pretend you're 2nd generation or 3rd generation, and your dad or your grandpa or your uncle or somebody in the family, well, they love this supplier. This supplier took care of them. They knew the original owner of the supply house, and they had a great relation, and they only did business with these people. But today, they don't provide up-to-date services like other distributors do. I'm all about loyalty. I really am. You take care of me, I'll take care of you all day long. My suppliers know that. But there does come a time where someone else steps up to the plate. They're making things happen to benefit the business. You've got to go that direction. You can't let your emotions allow your business to get stuck somewhere and cause basically a downturn in sales or failure. All right, number 4. Poor risk management. Running a business on feelings can cloud judgment regarding risk. This might mean either taking on too much risk without adequate preparation or being too cautious and missing out on a valuable opportunity. So in other words, I need to buy 3 trucks and I need to hire 3 new technicians. But then my emotions kick in and boy, that's a lot of money and that's a lot of time to hire. And what if we don't have the year that I'm projecting? That's not going to go too well. So I think I'll just remain status quo for a while. And boy, that'll take you under faster than anything. In business, entrepreneurs, you got to make things happen. You got to make things happen fast. And you can't be waiting around based on your feelings. Sure, every once in a while you're going to have a gut feeling to either do something or not do it, but that can't be all the time, okay? That's once in a great while. I had a gut feeling not to do that, and it seemed to pay off. Or I had a gut feeling in 2008 when everybody else was down. I had a gut feeling to hire more people, buy more equipment, spend more money on advertising, and we were up 46% that year, record year, okay? So you're going to have those gut feelings, but they don't happen all the time. They shouldn't. Okay, number 5, boy, this is a good one. Inconsistent leadership. Leadership based on fluctuating emotions. You know, that alone should raise a red flag. It can be unpredictable, making it difficult for employees to know what to expect. See, it's not all about you. It's about your team. Because when your team's not knowing what's going on, they're not going to perform at their highest level. And that's affecting your business right there. So this inconsistency can erode trust. See, when an employee does no longer trust the manager, the owner, things aren't going to go well. So a good example of this would be we tell the team we're wanting to invest in training. We're gonna invest in training. We're gonna do this. We're gonna buy a lab. We're gonna put together a lab. We're gonna do this for you. We're gonna do that for you. And guess what? Well, it never happens because we're worried about them having too much time out of the field for training and missing out on sales because we're not doing well and we need every possible sale we can get. All right? That's inconsistent leadership. And your team won't stick around long. They're going to go find someone they can trust. Number 6, overlooking data and analytics. So emotional decision-making can lead to disregarding or undervaluing the importance of data and analytics. And these things inform us of these things should inform us of how we strategize and how we make decisions. So if you're not up to date, in other words, here's my example. We allow a bookkeeper or our accounting department to get way behind on financial reports. And because we really don't want to be held accountable for them, so that puts us way behind. We don't know where we're at. When I coach companies and I say, what'd you guys do? What'd you guys do last year? And it's already April and they can't tell me what their sales were last year. Houston, we have a problem, okay? But I look at it as if it's April and I ask, if it's later in April, and I ask, what'd you guys do in March? I need an answer. Your bookkeeping, your financial reports, your profit and loss should be up to date. And we have made some changes in some things. So it's our accounting department's having to, when you change software and all that kind of stuff. So recently, but normally by the 10th or the 12th of the month, we need the prior financials. Okay. And that's expected. That's the expectation every month. Okay. Number 7, financial instability. See, emotional decisions might lead to unsound financial management, such as overspending on favored projects or failing to cut losses on underperformers because we feel it would hurt their feelings and they have a family to provide for. Okay? Well, God bless them. They have a family to provide for. But if they're not performing in my company and we've given them ample time and meetings and challenges and we've let them know the expectations and they're not performing, we've got to cut them loose and go on. We're not an adult daycare here. We're a for-profit business. And so are you, and you've got to make things happen. So quit hanging on to people because of feelings. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for you, your business, your team. I don't tell you what you want to hear. I just tell you sometimes what we need to hear. All of us need to hear it. I watch this and edit it, and I learn stuff from what I say too. It's not always easy, but you need to hear that. Okay? So keeping underperformers can jeopardize the financial stability of your business, and basically it can take you under. If you keep enough people who's not performing, you're not making a profit. All right, last one, number 8, stress and burnout. Ooh, I hear this not every day, but I hear this weekly. Someone stressed, burnout, not sleeping good. So running a business based on emotions can be emotionally exhausting. It will exhaust you, which leads to higher stress levels and burnout. This not only affects your personal well-being, but it can also impact decision-making qualities and business performance and your family. However, a great example of this is someone having a hard time balancing family time and work time. And I tell, if you're married and you start a business, I tell husband and wives all the time, this is not a part-time gig. This is a full-time gig to get this thing going. And it's going to take a lot of hours. It's going to take a lot more hours than 40 hours a week. It could take a lot more than 50, and it could take a lot more than 60. So you got to be willing to do that going in on it. And if family's important to you, then you've got to figure out how to balance that. Everyone in business who's married with children have to balance that, and you have to figure it out. If they don't, they're going to have problems either at home or in the business. One of them is going to fail if you don't balance that well. One of them will fail, if not both. So you can't run a business based on emotions. It will just wear you down, and it actually makes an impact on the quality and the business performance. It will suffer. So you'll become fried if you're not good at balancing family and work time. And I'm not here to tell you how. I can tell you what I did. I can tell you that I put a ton of time in my business. Sometimes 70 hours, sometimes 80 hours, sometimes 100 hours. Who knows? I really didn't track it. I did whatever it took to get this thing off the ground and get a profit going and making it work for 34 years. But when we had children, I never missed a game. I attended a lot of practices. I never missed an event, a play, or whatever they were in. I just never did. I have driven from state to state to get home for a game to only turn around and drive right back because I had the seminar starting early in the morning. So I did whatever it took. That was me. I hear a lot today that they need to give more time to the family. Well, if you can do that, and God bless you, but your business will suffer. So it's entirely up to you how that works for you. It's your life, it's your business. But I'm just letting you know that you'll become stressed and burn out, and something will eventually give. So to mitigate these risks that we talked about today, it's important for business leaders to cultivate an emotional intelligence, which includes recognizing your own emotional biases and developing strategies to ensure that the decision-making is balanced. Like I said, family, work, balanced. Your emotions have to be balanced. You can't be off kilter here. You can't be all about the intellectual or the strategic planning and not care for people. But then you can't be all about feelings and caring because everything else will suffer too. So you've got to have a balance. And I always recommend, if you're a big enough company to have management team, you've got to have some people in the management team feelers, and you've got to have some based on thinking. And we do a pretty good job here on our leadership team of a good mix, because you can't have all thinkers and you can't have all feelers. You got to have a good balance both ways. And so decision-making has to be balanced, considering both rational analysis and intuition. Like we said, the gut. So I don't know. I talked about this today because I've talked to so many contractors lately who are suffering in this area. So if we just review, if you feel too much, you're going to make impulsive decisions. You're going to have conflict of interest. You're going to have resistance to change. You're going to have poor risk management, inconsistent leadership, overlooking data and analytics. You're going to have financial instability and eventually stress and burnout, and that's not good, okay? So I hope this helped today. So before we wrap up, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe below. And you can also support this podcast by rating and reviewing on iTunes or your preferred listening platform. Keep listening. I'll do my best to keep challenging you. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook or Instagram at The Greg McAfee Show. No spaces, no underscores. Be sure to tune in next week. Got some good stuff coming up. As always, thanks for listening. Carry on. God bless. Make this day the best day of your life, because we're not promised tomorrow. See you later.